morning. I'm Aaron Gowell. I'm the Chief Conductor of SilverRail Technologies. We are building the first global marketplace for rail, connecting suppliers and distributors. Big, long, fancy statement that says we're rail aggregators. Philip wanted us to talk about chaos, and I'm going to introduce you to the biggest sector of chaos that you've never heard of. The passenger rail market is $300 billion in transactions, $300 billion. The single fastest growing sector in all of travel at around 10% annual growth. If you look at the amount of investment that is happening in the online rail space, it's absolutely astonishing. $200 billion was invested in online rail or in high-speed rail last year alone. 2x the amount of all investment in all airplanes, in all of the systems around airplanes, runways, etc., globally. This is what is changing the world. This is I call the German Scud missile. It's the German ICE train. This train will do 250 miles an hour. It can peak out at 350 miles an hour if they really stomp on the gas. What's so amazing about this picture, though, is I took this picture 2 weeks ago in downtown London. This is not in Germany. The reason that was able to happen is because the European market deregulated on January 1st of this past year. Trains can go anywhere that they want to. It's absolute chaos in the European market right now. They're investing $500 billion in high-speed rail tracks, expanding the network by an order of magnitude in 4x. The single most important thing, I think, for the distributors in this room, if you're a seller, is that if you look at the train times on any of the air routes, if it's more than 4 hours or less than 4 hours in length, the rail will have at least 60% market share. The single most trafficked air route in the world 10 years ago was London to Paris. That train now has 80% market share. The second most trafficked air route in the world 2 years ago was Madrid to Barcelona. That train now has 70% market share. So if we're talking about that train that was in downtown London, that train had come from Frankfurt, Germany. If you look around the world, every single market, there's a perfect corollary line between train speeds and how much market share that they have. This train will have at least 60% market share. Now, why should people like Dara care? In this market, that flight is doing 450 flights a day on that particular route, $9 billion in sales per year. At 60% market share, that's $5.5 billion that just went away from the air market, and that market just grew from 80 billion to 85 billion. Now, on a business like mine, if I'm able to capture 5% market share on my current economics with the current partnerships, that roughly rounds up to around $3.5 million in net revenue. So this is a very real business. A year from now, Dara is going to be calling his crew and saying, "Why the hell are our sales down?" And my answer is, you just got smoked by the choo-choo train. If you look everywhere around Europe, all of Europe will be connected within a 4-hour time period here pretty quickly, and that means that air is essentially going to be dead in these markets. The real challenge is that if you're a distributor in this market or a supplier in this market, it's almost impossible to connect to each other. There is no a centralized system to connect to. So this is why, if you look around the world, travel management companies and OTAs sell over half of the world's travel, yet they sell less than 1% of the world's rail, less than 1%. It's a massively complex issue around how do they connect to each other. Therefore, consumers are walking up to the train station. 60% of people still buy at the train station, and the rest of them are buying on really, really bad supplier websites. This is where we come in. We've built the first rail aggregation platform in the rail space. This system is designed to tie into all of the rail suppliers in the market, serve up the data in a seamless way through a single API. The team that built this are long-term travel guys, being led the team on the tech side by Will Phillipson, my partner, who built the very first dynamic packaging system that powered Orbitz in the early days when it went public. Then he went to the University of ITA Software and got his graduate degree. We go to market with through an API, a white label. We access all of the markets that matter, and we've already cut down about a dozen distribution deals. If you really want to see this product live, go talk to Reardon. They've done a phenomenal job using our product and integrating it straight into their main point of sale system. Transaction models, much like ITA software, we either charge on a per query basis, sometimes on a per booking basis. It's a very good system. Sometimes we hear from the GDS, they're like, wait a minute, Aaron, that's BS, we sell rail. And my argument is, well, no, you don't. If you did, consumers would actually be able to buy it and we would see your product someplace. There's a big distinction between having connections and actually having a product in a platform. So my litmus test is when I can see air or rail being sold in a rail tab or in the air search or in the packaging system. If it's not in those places, you do not have rail. This is Cuno. Cuno is our consumer site that we just launched 3 weeks ago to lots of good press. It sits on top of our white label platform. This is essentially what partners get. It's a very air-like search system and will be the first dynamic packager of rail and hotel across the European continent. Thank you very much.